Status Theory, Episode 13. There is a specific expression you almost never see on a truly wealthy person's face. It is not boredom, it is not arrogance, it is surprise. You can take a wealthy person to one of the most celebrated restaurants in the world, show them a car that retails for $300,000, or walk them into a suite that costs $10,000 a night, and the expression stays controlled, calm, almost unleadable. That is not rudeness, it is a performance, and it is one of the most subtle but powerful status signals in the entire language of wealth. Today, we are going to decode why rich people hate looking impressed, and why emotional restraint, in certain social worlds, is the most legible signal of belonging you can send. Emotional reactions are information. When you look surprised, delighted, or visibly impressed, you are revealing something. Most importantly, that you did not already know, already own, or already have access to whatever you are reacting to. Surprise, at its core, is a signal of newness. And in status terms, newness has a cost. If a five-star hotel suite is genuinely jaw-dropping to you, it communicates that you have not been in many five-star hotel suites. If a private club feels exciting and special, it signals that private clubs are not yet a routine part of your life. The reaction gives away where you are in the social hierarchy. And in elite circles, giving that information away freely is considered a kind of social mistake. This is the logic of cool. Looking unimpressed, or at least not visibly impressed, signals that what you are looking at is familiar. And familiarity with expensive, exclusive things implies that you belong in those spaces as a matter of routine, not exception. Sociologists who study elite behavior have documented this pattern extensively. Pierre Bourdieu's concept of habitus, the set of durable dispositions and behaviors instilled through class socialization, includes what he called hexis, the physical bearing, posture, and affective style associated with a particular class position. People raised in elite families are socialized from childhood to display a certain kind of composed affect. The restrained reaction is not something they consciously choose in the moment. It is something that has been trained into them across years. This creates a significant asymmetry. Someone who grew up with access to wealth in elite spaces absorbs that composure early and wears it naturally. Someone who has recently acquired wealth may have the money, but the affect arrives later, or not at all. The composed response is in that sense more reliable as a class signal than the objects themselves. Objects can be bought. The calm that says, "This is ordinary for me," takes years to convincingly produce. Erving Goffman, in his foundational work, The Presentation of Self in Everyday Life, described impression management, the way people strategically control what information they reveal through behavior. In elite social settings, not reacting is often a form of active impression management, a deliberate choice to present a self for whom luxury is unremarkable. The restraint dynamic is not just about impressing people below you in the hierarchy. It functions equally within peer groups of the wealthy.
In elite social circles, expressing enthusiasm about wealth signals can be read as gauche, a word borrowed from French literally meaning left-handed, but used colloquially to mean clumsy or socially inexperienced. Reacting visibly to a luxury object in a room full of people who own the same thing suggests that it still feels special to you in a way it should not. This creates a strange social inversion. The more genuinely impressed you are by something expensive, the less sophisticated you appear to people who own similar things. Underreaction signals belonging. Overreaction signals aspiration. The practical effect is that wealthy social environments often have an emotional flatness to them that outsiders can find puzzling. Conversations about objectively extraordinary things, yachts, art collections, private travel, are discussed in the same register as mundane topics. That flatness is a collective performance of normalcy, and belonging means participating in it. There is also a genuine psychological mechanism at work here, not just performance. Repeated exposure to luxury reduces its hedonic impact over time. This is well documented in hedonic adaptation research. Daniel Kahneman and colleagues have shown that human beings are remarkably poor at sustaining elevated pleasure states. After a significant positive change, a new car, a larger home, a major purchase, people typically return to something close to their previous emotional baseline within months. If you have owned multiple luxury cars, spent dozens of nights in five-star hotels, and attended hundreds of formal dinners, the genuine emotional response to those experiences does fade. The wealthy, over time, really are less impressed, not because they are performing composure, but because repetition has normalized what once would have felt extraordinary. This is one of the more ironic dimensions of luxury. The aspiration is to access things that feel special, but long enough in those spaces, and they stop feeling special. The performance of not being impressed at a certain point becomes simply accurate. The controlled expression is doing a lot of work. It is signaling familiarity. It is protecting against social missteps. It is performing the habitus of a class you either grew up in or are working to belong to. And over time, for those who stay in elite spaces long enough, it stops being performance at all. It becomes the truth. The irony is this: the most genuinely impressive things in the world are the ones that the people most exposed to them have learned not to react to. Status in elite circles often looks like boredom, but it is never quite that. Subscribe to Status Theory for weekly decodes of the psychology behind wealth, taste, and power. There is always something hiding behind the calm expression.